everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. This is Madhuri and I'm here today to introduce you to a very exciting discussion on an industry without which you cannot imagine your digital life. Well, I'm talking about the electronics industry, and in this discussion we have the industry experts sharing their views, the scope of the industry for employment, employability and entrepreneurship while talking about skills and education. In the conversation, you might come across acronyms like ESDM, EMS, or IC. IC stands for Integrated Circuit. As some of you might know, ESDM is Electronics, System Design and Manufacturing, and EMS is Electronics Manufacturing Services. So these are some of the terminologies I thought I should introduce you with, along with semiconductors. So this is going to be quite exciting, and I wish to thank the Electronics Sector Skill Council of India for facilitating this panel discussion. So let's go ahead. I hope you've subscribed to our YouTube channel, and in case you haven't, do it immediately and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any update from us. Hi everyone, this is Madhuri from National Skills Network, and I'm back with another interesting panel discussion with experts from the electronics industry. As we all know, today electronics is not something very specific to a particular industry sector, but it has been emerging as a lateral industry where you will find electronics embedded in almost everything that we use at home or in industrial setups. And this makes it a very attractive industry for jobs, for entrepreneurship, for apprenticeships, and many other things. So today in this discussion, we are going to look at what is the kind of education and skills and training that we need. Are we ready with those skills? What are the skill gaps and how do we address them? So with me, I have a panel of experts. Let me introduce them to you. We have with us today Mr. Saleem Ahmed, who's the officiating CEO of Electronics Sector Skill Council. Then we have with us Dr. Devraj Singh, who's an expert from the Semiconductors from SMC. So we have industry experts also joining with the head of the Sector Skill Council. That's very exciting. And we have with us Mr. Subnesh Sharma, who's the AVP HR from VVDN Tech. And this is into electronics manufacturing. So I think we are going to get multiple perspectives today about education and skills. So welcome to this conversation, all of you. So let me get started by asking you, what are some of the subsectors in the industry that are creating jobs and have also scope for entrepreneurship? Because we are looking at not only skills which fit into a job role, but skills that will help in gig jobs or small entrepreneurs and so on. So we can get started with Mr. Saleem. So please share your views on this.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. And in fact, it's a very exciting conversation we are having here. Maybe from the Electronics Sector Skill Council of India, we are a council which is mandated to develop a skilled workforce for the entire ESDM, that is Electronic System Design and Manufacturing sector. Overall, electronics is in a very exciting times, and electronic manufacturing especially, it has experienced a CAGR of over 16% over the last 7 to 8 years. And as we stand and we go forward, a huge demand for the electronic sector, as well as we envisage creation of 50 lakh jobs in the sector in the next 5 years by 2030. Two of the very exciting sectors or the subsectors within the ESDM are the EMS, Electronic Manufacturing Services, and the Semiconductor. And because EMS, it encompasses all the subsectors, it is more of a services wherein the electronic the electronic products are manufactured. And till date, in the sector, we have over 13.20 lakh people working in the sector, and it is expected to grow to 21.26 lakhs. So over 8 lakh jobs will be created within the sector, and certain job roles which are very, very generic in the EMS are like the assembly line operator, the EMS technician. We can place assembly operator and wiring assembly operators. These are very good job roles, and most of these job roles are essentially for large scale organizations who are manufacturing and into electronic manufacturing. And government has a focus under the Skill India mission and also under the uh, Make in India flagship programs. And the government has also sought to incentivize to attract more investment in the sector. And under various schemes of the EMC 2.0 clusters to have 200 EMC clusters across the country. There's a scheme for PLI for large scale manufacturing of electronic equipment. And there's a scheme for specs, there's a special program for electronic and semiconductor. Not to undermine, of course, the Indian Semiconductor Mission, which seeks to make India a self-sustainable uh, country in semiconductor, which is to be, as we see all the sectors expanding. So, apart from the EMS, the semiconductor also, there would be a requirement of over 100,000 technicians across various job roles. Uh, it could be across design, manufacturing, and of course, ATMP, that is uh, testing, marking, and packaging. So as we move forward, I think they are very, very exciting times just to build the context. And a lot of these job roles would also can be used by entrepreneurs because in EMC clusters are small little units. The EMC clusters, there'll be large units and there'll be small little units around the large units which are going to be a supply for various components and the various little like some context. I think these job roles in both in EMS and semiconductor have a very bright future as subsectors in the electronic sector.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for presenting the larger context. And since we have with us the HR representative himself from the industry, let me ask Mr. Sharma about his perspective on, the kind of jobs that are coming up, and do you have the required talent? Can you please elaborate on maybe some of the key areas where you foresee there is a skill gap, and we need to take more steps to prepare the students, let's say from ITIs, not only ITIs, from engineering colleges, and I would say even from schools, because I think school is the place where students should be introduced to skills, right?
I agree. I agree. And first of all, thank you so much for inviting on this platform. Really appreciate it. And I believe the communication, the communication which is expected here from my side is more towards finding out the position of the current talent in the industry which is required versus what it should be versus what is there maybe in the school and college or whatever the institution we have in place, right? So I think from that angle, if I see as an HR, what I need is I need skilled manpower available any day, right? Unfortunately, institutions are not allowing that. It does not mean that academics are not trying. For sure, academics are trying, but look at the gap which is available. I'll give you a very small example. For us, EMS side, we would like to have chip designing as one of the skill set, but unfortunately, on chip designing side, colleges or diploma colleges or maybe BTech colleges, they are not supporting much, and hence we have special institutes which are supporting. IITs are typically running special programs for this. There are few private institutions which are supporting this. Somehow we are able to manage, but then yeah, this is a gap which is pretty much evident. On top of it, the amount of effort which are put in from government side on electronics, manufacturing side, and the number of vacancies which are being produced, what even Saleem sir was telling me, right? I think there we need these skills to be fulfilled. I took one example. Another example can be, I think, advanced packaging and testing. There's another area wherein we need more resources. Unfortunately, skilled resources are not available in that area also. Whatever we are doing, we are talking about AI. Whatever we are doing, we are talking about EVs. In this world of AI and EV, until unless we have a right set of talent which can meet expectation of power electronics design and thermal, it is going to be a big challenge. Institutions are trying their best, but then what industry needs and what institutions are producing, there is a big gap. So somewhere we need to cover that. Another example can be on embedded firmware side, system software, designing, RTOS implementation, device driver writing. These are the skills that which are available, but then we need more. I'm not saying they are not there, but then they are a little less in comparison to what the demand industry is looking for. Similarly, on PCB side, similarly on fab side, there are a lot many innovations which are keep on coming, demanding for new skill set. Unfortunately, those skill sets are there, but then scarcity is pretty much evident across EMS industry, not only for one company, but it is across the industry. Now, question comes: what are the best ways, or what are the possible, collaboration opportunities? For sure, yeah, industry academia collaboration is one opportunity wherein industry can go and settle down and start giving the knowledge sharing to professors and you know the respective institutions, even private institutions. The collaboration can take place. VVDN as an organization, we are already doing it with multiple institutions, including a couple of universities, wherein we established our learning centers and center of excellence. By providing these benefits, we are inculcating the top-notch technology, the niche technology, knowledge sharing to professors in the institution and the university. Even today only we completed one of the faculty development program initiative on Gen AI, which was one of the niche requirement from validation point of view, reliability and validation point of view. So we are trying our best from industry point of view how to bridge this gap between industry and academia. I think your question is relevant, wherein you are not only talking about the BTech institution, but then going further down towards the initial academics, maybe school and colleges. I think somewhere it is important that we should have training or certain labs established there too, typically which is gamified, so that it can generate the curiosity among the students at an early stage of their academic career. At the same time, somewhere we should also incentivize them. If they build something, if they do something, we should incentivize. The benefit of this entire exercise would be eventually, after few years, maybe 1 or 2 or 10 years, after few years, I should be able to get, or industry should be able to get certain set of people who are aware of what and how this technology is going to work, or what and how this this knowledge can be further uh, enhanced, right? So on those ideas, I think industry is looking to fill up the gap. They are trying, within as an organization, we are trying. I think similarly, other organizations must be also trying to fill up the gap. But then, yeah, it's a long gap which is not going to fill in just like that. It is consistent, continuous efforts which are required from both the sides, not only from institution side, but also from industry side. So I think these are the things wherein skill gap and the possible solution to fill up that skill gap can be done.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma, for emphasizing on the need for industry-academia collaboration. We'll come back to this thing again, the topic. And also, I think it was very nice to hear from you about the need to raise, the curiosity among students at a very young age, so that they develop an interest for the industry. So let me connect this with the mission we have, the semiconductor mission, which is a national mission. And let me ask Dr. Devraj about the kind of skills that are needed. How much of awareness is there among younger people about this Semicon India, either the events that happen or the need for them to get interested in the semiconductor industry? Could you please share your views and your experiences around it?
Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to be here today with you to speak on topic that lies at the heart of India's technological aspirations, the semiconductor industry, which you can say is very new as well. And our effort is to build a world-class talent ecosystem around it, because semiconductor always sits at the core, and around that, all electronic industry actually prosper, you can say. So, as we all know, semiconductors are not just the brains of modern devices, they are the foundation of our digital future. From smartphone to satellites, from electric vehicle to AI system, which Mr. Subnesh already covered, the semiconductor powers everything. And today, India stands at the threshold of semiconductor revolution. You must have seen so many factories are coming up. So those factories would be requiring a lot of skilled talents. And it's not about the higher level talents, but somebody who is working in those manufacturing units. So those talents are very much required. And, ESSCI role is to actually produce that kind of talent either by skilling or reskilling or upskilling the manpower that are already there in the field. They have certain amount of understanding of what semiconductor is, but then they have to be upskilled to a level that they are able to work on those machines or packages which are there in the semiconductor manufacturing setup. So India's greatest strength is its people, you know that. And the success of this semiconductor journey will always depend on how effectively we can train, we can upskill and empower our youth. Government has also done a lot in this particular thing, like chip to startup program. You must have heard, where government vision was to train over 85,000 engineers across 100 plus institutions in VLSI design, embedded systems, system on chip architectures. So this is a step towards building a deep pool of homegrown design talent that can compete on the global stage. Now, semiconductor manufacturing is not a normal kind of manufacturing. It's a very high tech. In fact, all rules of Industry 4.0 you can see in one semiconductor manufacturing. And as Mr. Saleem has already said, there are three segments in this semiconductor manufacturing. One is upstream where all designing actually takes place. Then there is midstream, where fabrication of the semiconductor actually takes place, and there is downstream where ATMP and OSAT, they are almost similar. Only thing is OSAT is when somebody is outsourcing assembly and testing services to another country, then it is called OSAT. Otherwise, ATMP is the complete definition of the manufacturing process, that is assembly, testing, marking and packaging. Which happens in that back end of the semiconductor manufacturing. So that's how you get those cute ICs out of entire semiconductor ecosystem. So these ICs actually empowers all kinds of digital revolution which is actually existing around you. So coming back to what are the new job roles across design, manufacturing and servicing you will be required. In design, we need many engineers in RTL, analog layout, verification and IP development, of course. And in manufacturing and ATMP, roles like semiconductor manufacturing technician can be one of the role which is directly applicable on the shop floor. Clean room technician can be another. IC packaging engineer can be another. Then die attach and wire bonding technician. There are so many different kinds of job role. In fact, SMC has given 7 job roles to ESSCI to actually get vetted and get it in national repository of skills. So these are various job roles. You can see the list that is present on their website as well. In servicing and testing, we need talent in semiconductor diagnostics, failure analysis, and quality control. And for entrepreneurs, that is one of the focus area. So these opportunities are actually the opportunity which is coming out of this semiconductor is immense. From fabulous chip design startup to testing labs to component packaging services, they can do a lot in this particular segment. And as Mr. Saleem has already covered, total estimated direct jobs by 2030, what we are saying, we have 3 factories in Sanand. Micron is there, then Keynes is coming up, then CG Semi is almost ready. Thereafter, one facility is there in Dholera, that is Tata Electronics, that is main semiconductor fab itself, mid segment semiconductor fab, that is with outlay of 93,000 crore kind of investment. It's huge. And then there is Tata Electronics in Jagi Road also, Assam, that is in Assam, that is coming up with 27,000 crore kind of investment. and that will be purely ATMP facility. Then there are two more facilities that are announced. One is TARC Semiconductor, another is SCL Foxconn venture, which is coming up in Delhi NCR. So these are various semiconductor companies which are already there, and there are a few semiconductor downstream companies which are already existing, like Suchi Semiconductor is there in Surat, like Sahasra Semiconductor is there in Bhiwadi. So these are already existing facility, and they are doing their bit in actually making our country and providing the semiconductor revolution some spin. No, so total direct job which I am seeing is around 3 lakhs, and indirect job will be around 10 lakhs in this particular segment. And I believe the journey we have begun is not just about making chips, it's about building capacity, it's about enabling dreams, and it's about empowering the next generation. So, with the combined effort of government, industry, academia, and society, India can truly become the semiconductor powerhouse of the future. I have no doubt in it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing all the details and such a vast, scope for jobs and like not only employment but also entrepreneurship in the semiconductors. Let me ask Mr. Saleem now from the perspective of the Electronic Sector Skill Council. Now that we heard from the industry experts directly, sir, what are the ways in which the Sector Skill Council is helping bridge this gap, because you interact with all the industries, various industry members, let's say through apprenticeship, internship, or any other things which help in practical training? Because when I look at this scenario, I think it is the emphasis on practical hands-on training that is the big differentiator when we talk about skilling. That's what connects to the job also, right? So how is this happening with the help of the Sector Skill Council?
With Sector Skill Council, we are committed to meet the demand and the requirements of the industry in terms of skills and also in terms of number of skilled manpower. We work very, very closely with the industry partners, and of course, Simsec Corporation, represented by Dr. Devraj, and VVDN, represented by Mr. Subnesh. We work across the country in all the EMC clusters, and we are very aligned to the industry, first to understand the exact skill gap, and then to develop capacity. For EMS and semiconductor both, there's a big challenge for imparting skill-based training, because the infrastructure available for training is a little less, and also there's a very big challenge, to deploy the infrastructure, since it's a little expensive to maintain for a normal training partner. However, we work very closely with the industry, and we are partnered with organizations like Marvel, Semiconductor, Keynes, NXP, Applied Materials. We work very closely with them, and also we position our under the National Apprenticeship Promotion Skill Program. So, with the apprentices, they are engaged by the industry. They utilize the infrastructure of the industry to gain experiential as well as to imbibe their skills. So, one is to work very closely with the industry to ensure there is a sufficient supply of skilled manpower. Apart from that, we have some good credible training partners across the major cities. For semiconductor, especially at the moment, we have the capability to impart skill-based training on the upstream job roles, like embedded full stack IoT analyst, embedded software engineer, IoT hardware analyst, and BLS high design engineer. So these are very much high design, high demand job roles, but essentially on the design part. On the foundry part, that is the core manufacturing and all the downstream. The downstream also, we have been able to develop some good qualifications, and we are working with companies like Setsara, we are working with Marvel, we are working with Keynes. However, for the foundry, there is a huge demand for skilled manpower, and certain, like job roles like clean room operations, for die attach and wire bonding, failure analysis and reliability, IC packaging engineer. So these are futuristic job roles in which we are still trying to figure out, and to like somehow come up with some infrastructure with our partners. to impart skill training, especially on the foundry part, on the manufacturing part. However, on the designing part and to some extent on the ATMP part, we have a lot of qualifications. We are positioning it and working with a lot of academia and also some of our good trained partners, and also we try to position semiconductor courses at school level. But then, since it is a more high tech industry, at school level we have a very basic program just to make the students aware of what is semiconductor and what are future of semiconductor, so that the semiconductor excites them and they look at the future, because going forward there's going to be a huge demand for manpower in this particular sector.
Yeah.
For EMS also, since EMS employs large amount of people and it's more of a factory setup where manufacturing happens. And though we break the total electronic sector into 9 subsectors, but let me tell you, EMS and semiconductor, apart from being vertical, they're I think more of a horizontal trades, which affect all the products we manufacture across the 9 subsectors. So these are very, very large sectors, and we work very closely with the EMS industry. We are aligned to companies like Foxconn, Sirma SGS, Cyient, Gaines, SFO Technologies, L&T, Tata Electronics, Tata Wistron. Of course, VVDN also, we are very close, and we have been engaged with them over the last 10 years. So as a sector scale council, we work very closely with the industry, we try to understand the demand of the industry and accordingly develop the corresponding qualifications and capacity to ensure that going forward the ESDM sector is not deprived of the skilled manpower it requires.
Thank you for sharing the details about the industry and academia type of engagement through apprenticeships and also the other initiatives. Like you mentioned, various job roles, and then the kind of qualifications you have, which are already developed at various NSQF levels. Now, my last question to all of you, there's one common question I'll ask you, and this is because we from National Skills Network, we have this very strong belief that unless things become aspirational and students opt for it by choice, it will not pick up positively as much as we want it to, irrespective of whichever sector. Since all of you are here today, my question would be, what is it that that we need to do? What are the steps we should take to make skilling aspirational in this sector? You have already shared quite a few views on this. Let's say at all the levels, school level, college level, and maybe at the research level also, because we need to have this holistic kind of a perspective to sustain the kind of initiatives that we are taking for skilling and talent development in this sector. So let's start with Mr. Sharma. What are your views on this? Any action points
Sure.
that you want to share? Yeah.
So I think most important thing is identify what's there for me, right? As a student, as a adult, as a job seeker, as a as an employee, as an employer, what's there for me, right? That's what we need to answer first. And to get that answer, I think your thought process is absolutely correct, and National Skill Reporter, right? Your thought process is absolutely correct, wherein you are saying until and unless there is an aspiration, we will not opt for it. So, answer to this question can be at a student level, generating the curiosity should be there, right?
Yeah.
And this can ignite the thought that okay, I would like to build this kind of product, right? And for that, you should have a gamification or gamification related approach in your curriculum. Our academic structure does not support that, but can we influence? The answer is yes, we can influence. And if we can influence, can this be resulted? Answer is yes, this can be resulted. So one is this. Second thing is for the existing employee, it should be a cross what do you call it? Interdisciplinary knowledge sharing is one of the aspect which will influence employee to get an okay. If somebody can do this, why can't I do it? And if I can do it, why can't somebody else cannot do it? So this is again another opportunity wherein organization should promote interdisciplinary knowledge. That is going to be a vital aspect. And why it is important, reason being is because the way dynamics are changing, the way industry is changing, any product life cycle is not more than 18 months or 15 months. Hence, what I am doing today has to be changed, So I need to learn, and what I need to learn is something which will come out of this interdisciplinary knowledge. This is what one of the thing which people need to understand and start practicing it. Industry should influence it, and academic should adopt it.
Dr. Devraj, what are your views? What actions should we take?
See, skilling actually, NEP 2020 is already in action. And NEP 2020 have given edge. Earlier times, things were like you are importing only the knowledge part of it and forget everything else. But now, soft skill, your behavior, your attitude, that is coming into action. So NEP 2020 also envisages experiential kind of learning, and that learning can only happen if you are doing things by your hand, right? And that particular thing, if introduced in curriculum, that is already introduced, slowly it is getting adapted. But then STEM kind of education, which is actually penetrating now in our school system. So there can be some kind of revolution that can be actually achieved in this school education. Like for electronics and semiconductor, I'm telling you, various logic gates. ATL is what? ATL is your logic gates, right? So these logic gates can be actually taught in school level with the help of various kits. So electronic starter kits can be given to those schools then who are interested in actually training their kids on these DIY kind of kits. You can say so. Logic gates, microcontrollers, LED matrices can be given so that they learn through experiential way. Then school to startup pipelines can also be, lot many startups are actually happening from school level itself. So school to startup pipelines can be developed, organized chip design hackathons or innovation challenges that can actually that can be one initiative. Then teacher training, of course, is very important. You know the quality of teachers that are there in the school. So teacher training also is in focus area to actually make them aware of the latest, revolutions which are happening in the country. So there can be foundational electronics and logic design workshops to the school teachers that can be thought upon. And for engineers, of course, in colleges, lot many things are now available to the college. I have been to ISC 3-4 months back. So I saw ISC has complete, IC fabrication setup. Almost 14,000 square meter of clean room they are having, and they are having state of art machine there. So they can easily fabricate any kind of IC device in that particular facility. There are, in fact, telecom chips also you can fabricate there. There was GAN lab, which I saw. So there are institutes which are actually forging ahead in developing these kind of facility for the students, so that students gets hands-on learning while they come to while they graduate and come to these factories for work. So chips to startup program, as I already mentioned, that is already benefiting lot many engineers. Then center of excellences which are opening up. In fact, ESSCI is also pushing very hard for several center of excellences in semiconductor space. Then industry academia collaboration, as Mr. Subnesh already covered. So these things are various initiatives which one can take to actually train our youth for future ready kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was quite an exhaustive list of action points. We need to make a note of them and see how all these can be implemented, especially through the Sector Skill Council, which I'm sure they are doing quite a few of them already.
Right.
So, what do you have to say to add to, let's say, I think two very critical points which came out was this curiosity, ability to innovate at the very young age, and the need for STEM education. I would also like to add girls in STEM education, and this industry I think is very favorable to have women workforce also. So, what are your action points, sir?
Women empowerment is one of the initiatives, right? And EMS is the best place wherein we can definitely see that reflection. And we proudly, I can proudly say that we have 70%, more than 70% workforce women working with us, right? Out of that 8,000, blue collar employees. And we have given accommodation for more than almost 2,700 women workforce, right? So that the safety concerns are being taken care of. So I think women empowerment is one area wherein VVDN is pretty much paying attention, and we are pretty much keen in doing that. And I think this is to be followed by only EMS sector for that matter, right? It's not about ease of business or something. What we found as an organization is that this should be one of the vision for us, one of the goal for us, that we are going to pay attention to women empowerment a lot and women jobs a lot. You see, whenever we are doing job postings, it is especially highlighting that we need women workforce, right? So from EMS point of view and from VVDN point of view, it was very much aligned to our vision, mission, and goal, and we are on for it any day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Sharma and Dr. Devraj, for giving us, so much of knowledge and also the insights that you shared about the kind of actions we should be taking, and especially the emphasis on women in this industry and why they are suitable. That's also one of the key points that emerged. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Saleem about his views about what are some of the key action areas, that we should focus on to narrow the skill gap, or even I would say something more than that, which the industry has to actively participate and contribute for developing talent and people in this sector.
Thanks so much. As ma'am, as Center Skill Council, I would say that our basic existence is to fulfill the demand for skilled manpower for the industry. So whatever supplies, whatever actions we take, essentially it is to fulfill the demand and to ensure the industry gets a supply of skilled manpower with the relevant skills. And since electronics is a very dynamic field, a lot of technological advancement taking place, and now also the training has become very sophisticated, both in terms of imparting the training and also what has to be imparted. In the imparting earlier, there was a very simple way of imparting a training in which you had a classroom and you had some lab and person would just experience the lab. But now, post-COVID especially, there are online systems, there's self-paced learning, and there's also a lot of digital resources in terms of AR, VR, in terms of virtual labs, which can be used to give a near real-time experiential experience, to impact the training. Also, now the equipment is becoming is getting more sophisticated. For example, a very simple thing like air conditioner, earlier it used to be more of a mechanical machine, but now it's completely integrated with technology and with electronics, and now also with IT. So that exactly the play of semiconductor comes, and now all AI enabled appliances coming up. So in this, both in terms of manufacturing and repair and maintenance, the skill to be imparted is becoming more refined and more sophisticated. So that way, as a sector skill council, we are aligned to the industry because we keep a very, very close relation with the industry to ensure that any technological development, any advancement is completely built into our system, and we ensure that the industry get the manpower and the skills which are actually required by them. On the aspirational part, which you had put the question, I would very, very briefly say that though we have over 100 qualifications, and which are essentially certificate qualifications, but being now aligned to the National Education Policy 2020, the skilling is also becoming aspirational, and we have also developed certain capsules and certain modules which are ready-made for the BGO programs, which we are positioning with the engineering colleges, community colleges, and also the universities. And out of the 6 programs which we have developed, the embedded system and IoT, electronic manufacturing services, a digital electrician, mechatronics, and IT infrastructure and management services. So these are some of the few capsules we have developed and are finding a good demand from the academia. So I would again reiterate, as existence of the Sector Skill Council, we have been promoted by National Skill Development Corporation, but co-promoted by 6 industry associations who collectively represent the total electronics sector. So our existence, as they say, is for the industry, by the industry, and of the industry. So that way, the SSC is completely aligned and committed to ensure to fulfill its objective and mandate.
Thank you, sir, for tying up all the themes that we discussed just now. And for our audience, this industry where we talk about circuits and chips and so much more has exciting opportunities for young people to explore. And also, in case you need to know more, please reach out to our panelists and also to the Sector Skill Council. You can go through their website or you can write to us if you have any queries. So, thank you all today for joining this virtual panel discussion. It was really enlightening and so much of learning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you
Thank
all. I hope you found this conversation useful, and in case you have any feedback or suggestions, please write to us in the comments and do subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon, and you will not miss any update from us. And I would love to have you around with us for our next conversations and other updates that we share through our YouTube channel. And do visit our website to know more about National Skills Network NSN.